Hi all, welcome back. In this video, we will see the usage of cy.as command that is present in Cypress, or how we can create aliases in Cypress. Okay, so for that, let's go to the code and see how many ways we can create aliases, for what are the types we can create aliases. Okay, so I'm going to create a file with alias.cy.js and then describe. Okay, the first scenario is like describing aliases. Okay, and then okay, see, if you see, there is a fixers folder. In that fixers folder there is a example.json file is there. Okay, so if I wanted to read this file, and use that file data in our test, how we can do it in one way. There are multiple ways you can load the JSON file in Cypress. So another describe, I'm creating multiple, so aliases in tests, and what I'm going to do is I'm loading this fixer. So to load the fixers, you can use cy.fixers command, and then you need to provide the file name example.json. So if you see, there are multiple properties here, as this is a sample one. If you take the real one, there will be multiple entries. This you can use these fixers for creating your test data, or you can place your multi-language. Say suppose if your application is supporting multiple languages, then you can create multiple files and then place that multiple language text in these fixers, and you can use that one. So as we are loading a data here, so I can mark it as and then I can assign it to some variable here. Okay, and to use that data, so it may confuse, so I'm going to use it as maybe data. Okay, and then to use that one, what we need to do is cy.get, and we need to use @ symbol, and then whatever the name that you have given here, so @data. So if you use that, and you need to use the then command, then we'll get that data. Okay, so right now I'm not doing anything here. What I'm going to do is I will log this response in the command in the Cypress test runner itself. So to log it, I'm going to use the cy.log and the response.body. This body is present in this example.json file. Okay, so sorry, we need to write a test here, forgot that one. So using aliases, alias name. Okay, we need to move this code to here. We cannot write a tests in describe, so we need to cannot directly write this inside describe, so always we need to write in test case. Okay, and let's write another test case. So you can access the data by using this keyword also. See, here we are accessing the data directly here, so we can use this data by using this keyword also. So for that, what you can do, Okay, and you can load the fixers. So to use this command, what we need to do is you cannot use the arrow function. Okay, so you need to use the function keyword. Okay, there is a lot of differences when using this keyword in JavaScript. Okay, so we should be careful when using our data and loading, when we are loading the data from fixers and using it. To use this keyword, you need to use the function keyword. We cannot use the arrow functions here. Okay, to verify the data, what I'm going to do is cy.wrap and then cy.log. As we are not using this aliases and getting that element, so what we are going to do is we are getting that data directly. Okay, so this time I'm going to use another element, so which is email. Okay, in this way you can use this dot data. So if you see here, we are going to get, whenever we are assigned alias with the data, we are going to get that with @ data. But in this case we are not getting the data with @ data symbol. Instead of that, we are using this command. So to use this command, we need to change the way that we are accessing our test. So cannot use arrow function, so we need to use the function keyword. Okay, so let's run these two and we'll see one other approach also, how we can assign aliases to our elements. Okay, I'm going to save this file, and if you go to test runner and run it, see these tests are passed because we are not loading the web page. These are just test cases directly we are loading. See the fixers, whatever the data that is present in our fixers file here. So first time we are logging the body and another time we are logging the email, so the fixers data is logged here, and email ID this time. Okay, so in this way we can access the aliases. Let's see one more scenario how we can access the aliases. Okay, so for that I'm going to create another inner describe. So aliases for elements. Okay, you can assign aliases for elements also, but when you are assigning aliases for elements, elements in the sense when HTML elements that we get using cy.get, that element should be loaded in the page. Okay, then only you can create aliases. If the element is not loaded, if you try to create an alias for that element, then it will fail. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, like, if you take the checkboxes one, so there we are using this checkbox, getting the checkbox and getting this text multiple times. Okay, so okay, instead of getting this checkbox every time and getting this text every time, what we can do is we can assign aliases to those things and you can use those aliases. Okay, for that what I'm going to do is I'm copying this before each in another describe. Okay, after that so we need to the element should be loaded to create that alias. Okay, so whatever the thing that we are writing in test case, I am going to get. Okay, I am going to get everything and I am going to paste it in before method itself. This is only for showing a demonstration, but it is not a good practice. Okay, so after we get a checkbox, what I'm going to do is, so for the checkbox I'm going to give a name as checkbox, and in the same way you can use we can create alias for this also. Okay, and I'm going to give as some message box or something like that. Okay, message box. Okay, and let me create a test for this to validate the data, because if there is no test, this won't be executed. Okay, handle checkboxes. Okay, and then what I am going to do, I am going to cut these lines of code, and then I am pasting here. So to access the element, as we have seen in first scenario, we need to use @ symbol. Okay, what I am going to do is I am going to delete this and using @ checkbox. Okay, the same thing I'm going to do here also. Okay, and for the same here also, instead of writing this big line of code every time, okay, we need to use @ here, so we can do a simple, we can use this the simple method of accessing in the element by using aliases. Okay, so I'm going to save the file and see how it goes. So okay, it is failing because if you see, by default when, as I told you, whenever I click on select, then only it is okay, then only it is appearing as record selected. So if I am not selecting it, then I am not getting that text. So that's why, as I told you before, so if you create it before itself, then it won't be executed. So you cannot create aliases that are not visible on the page. So we need to access this as directly only. So we cannot access using aliases because that element is not present there. Okay, after selecting only this element will come. Okay, so if I click on save again, now it passed, because after selection only this element will be appeared. So in this way you can use aliases. Thank you.